I have no idea what he was going to talk about, but he was going to talk about the Internet Society New York chapter. I do know a bit about this because I am the president of the chapter. Richard is on our board. Sherry is on our board, you know. So we have good representation. How many people here have heard of the Internet Society? Well, that's not bad, most of you. You know, the Internet Society just got 25 years old, and we're looking at how well we've done. There's 3.5 billion people now connected to the Internet. There's also 3.5 billion people who are not connected to the Internet. And we're looking at like what to do about that. And one of the things which is very important is local content. And there's a big role in Wikipedia in creating local content, you know, out there for people. And another thing we're looking at is community networks, you know, setting up so at least you've got your own, you can make a local network in your village, wherever you are, or something like that. And then you can look at, like, you know, maybe connecting to someone else. You know, before the internet came up with the bulletin board systems we were hearing about from Jason, everything was store and forward. You know, that was the way they did it. Each bulletin board, they had FidoNet, each bulletin board dialed up the next bulletin board, swapped all its information overnight, you know, when calls were cheap or something like that. And there's no reason, you know, that something like Wikipedia can't spread by that method to even to people that don't have fast online connections. But anyway, you know, I was just here to talk about the Internet Society New York chapter. So how am I going forward with this? Okay, so you'll see that that we've got various things. We've got a notice board, calendar, wiki, meetup, Facebook, Twitter, Slack. So the thing you should really pay attention to is our notice board, because that's the one where all the stuff gets posted, and you'll see that the latest post on there is telling people who might not know about it that there is a Wikipedia Day event today and that there might be a webcast of it. And you can see that there's a calendar there. We do have a wiki. There's not too much goes on our wiki. You know, our meetings and so on are there. But the one page that does get a lot of hits is accessibility resources. And in fact, we're working on a separate accessibility special interest group. We work with the accessibility groups in New York City and Chicago, also worldwide. You know, our lead people on this are, you know, we have blind people in Pakistan, in Bangladesh. In Pakistan, they actually did very well. They convinced the government that people couldn't pay their taxes because they couldn't read the Inland Revenue websites. And so the government stepped out and made all federal websites, national websites, readable by blind people just for that reason. One thing we did a few years ago when the .nyc was coming up, the idea came up of, well, you know, we should reserve names for neighborhoods for .nyc. Tom Lowenhaupt, who's also one of our directors, came up with that idea. So what if a neighborhood got a name, you know, what would they do with it? So the idea came, well, they should get a wiki. And Richard came along and suggested this, and eventually there was something started called NYC Wiki, and it's a wiki for the city. And I have to say that this, in fact, was a bit of a non-starter. You know, a bunch of stuff was copied over from Wikipedia, and it was, you know, basically they had me maintaining it. I got that. Me maintaining it, and so this is what happened. If you look at it today, this is what you'll see. A database error has occurred. Tom, meanwhile, has managed to get in one of these neighborhood names after a lot of negotiation, you know, city.nyc, and so he now in Jackson Heights.nyc is a wiki. I will say that he probably needs help running this, so if anybody wants to get involved, go to Jackson Heights NYC. One of the things we're working on right now is digital preservation. We've got a new project. We're working with Vint Cerf. We did an event last week in DC. We've got one coming up on here on February the 5th. There was a lot that was talked about earlier that relates to digital preservation that I'm going to take away from this event. Talking about community networks earlier, we have one in New York called New York City Mesh, which is also a place where local wikis could get involved. And, you know, where all this stuff lives is on our live stream, where you can find out about this stuff, including you'll see the Wikipedia event. We're we're here now, the events I just talked about, NYC Mesh, and thank you very much.